Next topic is mechanism of urine formation. Urine formation involves three main processes. Number 1, glomerular filtration. Number 2, tubular reabsorption. Number 3, tubular secretion. We will start with the first part, that is the glomerular filtration. As the name indicates, glomerular filtration, glomerular means filtration of blood. What is present in glomerular capillaries? Blood. So filtration of blood, it take place in the glomerulus. Such filtration is known as glomerular filtration. And glomerular filtration take place due to high blood pressure in the glomerulus. Now, how blood pressure is high in the glomerulus? When the renal artery, it enters into the kidney through hilus, then it forms renal arteriole. And these arteriole, when it enters into the Bowman's capsule, they are known as the efferent renal arteriole. These efferent renal arteriole, they form a fine tuft of capillaries inside the Bowman's capsule known as glomerulus. And then these capillaries later on joins to form the efferent arteriole. Now you can see here that the width of the lumen of the efferent arteriole and glomerular capillaries and efferent arteriole is different. Efferent arteriole is wide, whereas glomerular capillaries are narrow, due to which when the blood flows from the efferent arteriole into the glomerulus, due to difference in the size of the efferent arteriole and glomerular capillaries, the blood pressure inside the glomerular capillaries increases. So why blood pressure increases? Due to difference in size, difference in width, or difference in the width of the lumen of efferent arteriole and glomerular capillaries, due to which blood pressure inside the glomerular capillaries increases, due to which fluid containing water and small molecules is forced out of the glomerular capillaries through pores called fenestrae. I already explained you, through pores called fenestrae of the glomerular capillary membrane, basement membrane, and slit pores present in the visceral membrane of Bowman capsule into the lumen of the Bowman capsule. So the filtrate or the fluid which contain water and small molecules pass from the glomerular capillaries into the lumen of the Bowman capsule due to high pressure inside the glomerular capillaries. So the separation of small molecule and ions from large molecules and cells in the blood is called ultrafiltration. Why it is known as ultrafiltration? Because fine filtration, it is there that most of the substances, they pass out from the blood into the lumen of Bowman capsule. That's why it is known as ultrafiltration. And the filtration of blood which is carried by glomerulus is known as glomerular filtration. This filtered out fluid which is present in the lumen of Bowman capsule is known as glomerular filtrate or ultrafiltrate. Please keep on noting down the terms. So this is known as the ultrafiltrate or glomerular filtrate. This ultrafiltrate which is present in the lumen of Bowman capsule contains sodium, potassium, chloride ions, glucose, amino acid along with nitrogenous waste product like urea, uric acid and large amount of water. So the blood present in the glomerular capillary is left only with blood cells and plasma proteins. Plasma water is also present but in very less amount, so it mainly consists of blood cell and plasma proteins. The amount of filtrate formed by the kidneys per minute. I repeat, the amount of filtrate formed by the kidney per minute is called glomerular filtration rate, GFR. So the amount of filtrate which is formed by kidney in 1 minute is known as glomerular filtration rate, GFR, and it is approximately 125 ml per minute. So from the renal artery, around 1100 to 1200 blood, it enters into the nephron and it enters into the kidney. In each kidney, or you can say in kidneys, 1100 to 1200 ml of blood, it enters the kidney per minute. And how much filtrate is produced? 125 ml. After glomerular filtration, 125 ml of glomerular filtrate is produced in 1 minute. So how much filtrate is produced in one day? 180 liters per day. So 180 liters per day filtrate, glomerular filtrate, is produced by the kidney. Next part is tubular reabsorption. Now from the glomerulus, now I explained you earlier also this term, tubular reabsorption, tubular secretion. I hope there is no need to explain, but let's revise once again. Tubular reabsorption means movement of substances from the filtrate into the blood present in peritubular capillaries through tubular cells, and tubular secretion means secretion of substances by the blood present in the peritubular capillaries into the filtrate present in the renal tubule through tubular cells. Now next part of the mechanism of urine formation is reabsorption. Now from the Bowman capsule, the filtrate, glomerular filtrate, it enters into the tubule, that is it enters into the renal tubule, and the first part of the renal tubule is proximal convoluted tubule. What happens in the reabsorption, that the tubular epithelial cells in different parts of the nephron perform reabsorption by two main processes, that is by active transport and passive transport. I hope you remember passive and active transport, which you have studied in your class 9th. Passive transport means movement of substances along concentration, means movement of substances from high concentration to low concentration, that is the passive transport. And active transport is movement of substances against concentration gradient. Against concentration gradient means from low concentration to high concentration, movement of substances takes place with use of energy. That energy is utilized in active transport. So I repeat, the tubular epithelial cells in different segment of nephron, they perform reabsorption by active and passive transport. Reabsorption of glucose, sodium ion, potassium ion, amino acid, it occurs by active transport. Reabsorption of nitrogenous waste like urea, uric acid, it takes place by passive transport, and in passive transport also by the process of diffusion. And reabsorption of water, it takes place by the process of osmosis. Now let's discuss in detail about reabsorption. In proximal convoluted tubule, reabsorption of all the essential nutrients, electrolytes, water, bicarbonate ion, nitrogenous waste, it takes place. Okay, so you can see here arrows. So reabsorption of all these, they are moving outward, it means they are showing reabsorption. So reabsorption of all these substances, bicarbonate ion, sodium ion, chloride ion, water, nutrients and potassium, it takes place in the proximal convoluted tubule. Next is the loop of Henle. First part, descending limb of loop of Henle. I told you earlier in the functions that thick descending limb, it is impermeable to the movement of substances. Then thin descending limb, it is permeable to water and impermeable to electrolyte. So reabsorption of water take place in the thin descending limb of loop of Henle, and it makes the filtrate hypertonic. Now this hypertonic fluid, it reaches into the thin ascending limb. Now thin ascending limb, it is impermeable to water and permeable to solutes. So reabsorption of sodium ion, chloride ion, potassium ion takes place. When the solutes they move out, the filtrate which is present in ascending limb, it becomes hypotonic. So the conditions are reversed. Here the filtrate in descending limb becomes hypertonic, and in ascending limb the filtrate becomes hypotonic. Hypotonic means when the concentration of solute is less as compared to the surrounding fluid. Now this filtrate, it reaches to the distal convoluted tubule. I told you earlier, in distal convoluted tubule, conditional reabsorption of sodium ion and water take place. First of all, conditional reabsorption of sodium ion take place only under the influence of hormone known as aldosterone, which is released by adrenal glands, and conditional reabsorption of water take place in the distal convoluted tubule under the influence of hormone known as antidiuretic hormone ADH or vasopressin, which is secreted by posterior lobe of pituitary gland. Now the filtrate, it moves into the collecting duct. Now in collecting duct, reabsorption of water take place to produce concentrated urine. I hope reabsorption is clear to everyone. Now the third part of the mechanism of urine formation is tubular secretion.